Hi Capricorn, I want you to know that this channel is made specifically for you. I'm a sea goat and I'm here for you, sea goat. Okay? Hello, Capricorn. My name is Kristen Simone Hansen and welcome to Secrets. Alright, so Capricorn, this is your career and finances video for September 2023. And I'm excited to get into this one because there's a lot of healing taking place when it comes to your work and your money. So the Venus retrograde made it so that you became hyper aware of your flaws, meaning things that were downsides in your money and your career. So for many of you, you might have seen losses when it comes to your career, meaning like you could have lost certain clients, you could have lost certain services, said like, you know what, this has to go, or this is no longer working, and different things like that. And it might have been difficult in the moment, but it really was the universe redirecting you so that you were more effective in how you implemented your energy. I talked a lot about this in June. I think I did in May as well, but I know I talked a lot about it in June when it came to you learning how to lighten the load on yourself. And it can be very hard when you're somebody that's used to packing on so much, because when you do that, you have complete control, right? You know what's in front of you, and you you put in a certain amount of hours and you get a certain amount back. You make certain moves and you're going to get returns on your investments. But there's a lot of movement that can take place when you do things in a way that, like I always say, incorporates a little bit more water, a little bit more of a flow. And when you are so used to having so much, in order for the divine to release you and redirect you, you have to lose a lot of things in order to start again. So I think the greatest example is kind of like minimalism. And when you look at minimalism, even though that era in terms of design fashionability has come and left, but I am will always be a lover of minimalism myself, like I do it with my work and things like that. But in order to feel abundant in having very little, usually that's what happens when you take away so much. And you start to really appreciate the smaller things that you have. They have more life given to them, like walking through an art gallery, and you, in order to see a piece of art, you have to appreciate it in an environment that is clean and frictionless, right? Versus trying to see a good piece of art in a maximalist like room is difficult. There's a reason why galleries are so quiet and so simplistic, right? And so that it's kind of what's been going on with you in terms of your work and your money. You guys have had to learn that you could do more with less, and you could go farther with more of a flow. So many of you have changed careers, career directions, changed the way you work, services you offer, and or have just been plain fired, or let go, and having to think about how to do things differently or how to start again. That's with career and with your money. Many of you have been strained financially, and it could have been because of a hold-up financially, waiting on a loan, waiting on your money to return to you from an investment, people who owe you money, or court proceedings. This too was to teach you how to be better with the money that you do have. So when something is taken away from you, yes, it makes you feel scarce, but then you have to be a little bit more strategic and particular about how you're navigating the money that is left. Learning how to do more with less, how to really make a bang for your buck, being a healthier spender, because many of you had a toxic spending habit, overindulgence, and not able to truly it's like overworking and not receiving, but then spending as if you're receiving as much as you're giving to. So you've got to learn how to really add more abundance to your currency, and it started in the mind. And in order to do that, a lot of you could have experienced some kind of redirection, right? And some kind of way in order to teach you to do that. September is when your money is coming back to you. So if you are waiting on someone to return your investment, someone who owes you, court proceedings, etc., end of divorces, whatever it may be, those things are coming back. When it comes to your career, you're going to see a lot of forward movement. Phone calls that you have been waiting on, partnerships that you've been waiting to come into fruition. Most importantly, you being put in a position, higher positions where you can do more with less. More of an influence, more than an outright doer. Okay? So we've got Venus going direct. And that has happened September 3rd, and that's going to make a lot of movement in your finances. And that is going to start the moment you see September 4th all the way throughout the 4th through the 10th. When Mercury exits on the 15th, you're also going to see a lot of movement in terms of things that were slowed down. After Mercury exits on the 15th, you're going to see anything that had felt blocked or like it was stagnant is no longer going to be stagnant, and it's going to come in full force. Release. We've got the release of doubt and fears in your work projections. So confidence is one of the biggest things that's going to be built this month when it comes to how you're seeing yourself in general. But most importantly, how that's affecting the way you show up in work and the way you show up in money. You are now feeling like you deserve things. Whereas in the past, you might have felt like you had to prove something. You felt like maybe you had to prove your worth or your value, or that you were unseen, and that is where a lot of overworking could have come from, overdoing it, again, not getting the bang for your buck kind of thing, also overspending in order to prove your worth or your value. All of that is now ended. So through the self-confidence that you've generated, you can now be more creative and have full faith and trust in the fact that your creative energy is going to give you full returns on what it is that you invest in. We've got windfalls, potential windfalls, lots of bonuses. So this can be as extreme as the kind of windfall that is based on pure luck. So as I keep saying, right now you're feeling a little bit stagnant because Venus has just left retrograde, so you are feeling a little bit despaired. Right before it left, it hit you hard with everything that could have hurt you, wounded you, kept you stuck in the past pertaining to yourself, your work, etc. So all of those things that have been going through your subconscious mind, you're going to see solutions for them by the end of the month, okay? So just hold steady. You are okay. And as the 4th begins, from the 4th through the 10th, this week is you're slowly stepping out of despair. It's not to say that it's going to be a quick movement, but there are different moments this week that you're going to see various highlights, and you're going to have to become hyper aware of where you invest, what it is that you're willing to invest in, and what it is that you won't do anymore. So maybe you do need to leave that particular service or job or learn how to do things easier and better. Focusing on what gives the most back to you with the least amount of effort. Because your happiness, you've had to realize that your happiness and your emotional development affects your career and your finances directly. That is what's been happening to you for the past few months. And now that you've been aware of this, you're now in a place where you're feeling like you won't compromise simply because your confidence has increased. Even though you may be feeling despaired and worried and not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, you know that you will not compromise based on how you felt in the past. All right, we got investments increasing. As I said, windfalls and bonuses. So bonuses at work, windfalls of money. Could be, again, money that's owed to you with court proceedings, divorces, etc. Money that you've invested in the past just blowing up out of nowhere. Stocks that you've invested in. Things that just you could have forgotten about. People that owe you things just popping up out of nowhere. And down to the bare bones of some kind of lottery or being able to get a grant, various loans that you need. So Again, from the 4th to the 10th, put yourself out there. If you see it, go for it. You never know what's going to happen, right? So put those applications out there, or those numbers out there, whatever you want to do. Keep in mind, things coming to complete fruition definitely can take place more likely after Mercury exits retrograde on the 15th. So we've got big solutions falling from big solutions coming from like out of nowhere. So things that you never thought you'd find a solution for, things that you never thought you'd see heal or change, debts that you thought you'd never be able to get rid of. If you are in some kind of hole, it could be financially, or it could feel like you're in a rut in your career. There are solutions that are being brought towards you this month. You're going to remember this month. I mentioned that in the love video because that is true pertaining to love, but it's also true pertaining to career and finances. There's going to be big changes happening this month that is going to be life-altering for you. And normally I don't say that, but in this case it is. There's a lot of memorable movements happening this month, solutions that come in a way that feels very simple, and it's almost comical because you never thought that they would be able to come into fruition. All right, so we've got on the 8th, great day for inspiration, great day to feel inspired, and again, incorporate your creativity into your work. The 15th, organic movement in career matters. The 15th is when Mercury exits retrograde and goes direct. We've got the 19th, which is when you're pushing through some kind of confusion. So on the 19th, things can feel a little bit foggy. Really, it's the pressurized moment of whatever has felt confusing in the past, now being able to show itself full circle on the 19th, and you will be able to break through whatever blockages that it is that you're having, and really it's just to make it so that you think smarter moving forward. I think my lighting is getting distorted. Here comes the sun. Yeah. I moved us a little bit to try to see if I can fix whatever's going on with the sun. I don't know if I can, but so anyway, so yeah, big outcome taking place on the 30th. So I keep emphasizing that whatever it is that you're feeling now, whatever blockages it is that you're feeling now, write them down. Write them down. Remind yourself that where there is a fall, there is always a rise. Wherever it is that there is a dip, there isn't anywhere else you can build it up. So if there's an opposition right now, there is always a yang to every yin. So write it down. Whatever's making you feel despaired, scared, worried, etc., it can eat away at you right now because of all of the emotions that have taken place during the retrograde, because of all the difficulties you have faced when it comes to your money and your finances during this time. Your emotions are not to be neglected, shoved down, or overly controlled, all right? Push forward, meaning don't force yourself to be perfect. Write them down. Understand that there is a solution. Write down what you think the solution would be so you can heal yourself, especially during September. Writing, studiousness is a big theme going on during this Virgo season. If you are a writer, this is a great time to write in general, to publish your books, etc. So if you are not, simply using the tool of writing is beneficial during this time to be able to see some kind of progressive movement. Also a great tool for manifestation at this time. So if you are feeling, I do not know how to get out of this financial bind that I am in at this moment, write down the solution that says some kind of windfall, right? A windfall would be the solution. Write down the problem, write down the solution. That is your manifestation process. You don't need to know exactly what the answer is. Surrender. The universe is on your side. The divine is on your side during this time, right? So write down the problem, write down the solution, and the solution, by the end of the month, September 30th, you're going to see that solution come into fruition, okay? So just hold steady and control your emotions. Do not bind yourself to the difficulties of the past, basically. All right, so we've got All eyes on you and your career. Yes, when the sun goes into Libra, it's your 10th house, Capricorn. So everyone's looking at you when it comes to your work. And so anything that you've done up until the 23rd, continue to hustle, continue to grind. Don't keep your head down, but keep your head in the clouds and your feet on the ground, because the work that you put in up until that point will be center stage by the time the end of the month comes to find you. We've got the stabilization of your finances. So again, whatever it is that Venus brought up for you about how to better your business, about how to make more money, about projects that you want to put out, about how to cancel out debts, about how to finish the court proceedings, all of those things that came to your realization during that time, this is now the application of it all. Okay, so stabilize yourself, stabilize your finances. Great support coming from Jupiter with all of this work. This is a part of the reason why I'm saying anything that you desire, put it out there and let go and have faith. A lot of things pertaining to shared assets and debts that need to be settled, and they are able to be settled. Mars in the 10th house has you working very diligently in order to fix all of these things. And one of the other, I would say the most negative side of things is miscommunications and misunderstandings when it comes to your work. So this could simply be you are working on a new team, trying to finish out court proceedings, trying to close out certain debts, and there could be some miscommunications and misunderstandings with Venus in retrograde. And that for you, Capricorn, can even see itself happening even out of the retrograde. So just speak slowly, stay steady. You are full of energy. You want to see the end to all of the obstacles that you have had up until this point. So that energy that's moving through you can cause a little bit of miscommunication. The authority that you have as well, you are moving with a lot of authority, and that can rub some people the wrong way. All right, so just as I always say, speak less, listen more. Don't take anything personally, and try your best to communicate the best of your ability during this time. Either way, everything is on your side, and it's time for you to finally experience the good karma that you put out there, okay? All right, so we are going to get into the reading now. Okay, so Capricorn, for your career, we've got, wow, the subject is the Empress. That's one hell of a heavy hitter. For your advice, we've got after the storm, new birth, guarded vigilante, and then we have for your spiritual guidance, we've got Epsilon. No, I said it wrong. Epsilon, modulation, and in your shadow, we've got the Page of Pentacles in reverse. All right. So what is this saying to us? It's quite, I mean, again, this is one very progressive message. This is the third reading that I've done for you guys for September, and all three readings have been very positive, which is beautiful. So the subject for you when it comes to your career is the Empress. So there's a lot of new birth, a lot of movement, a lot of projects that you're bringing forward. But it's not just about your projects being brought forward. It's not just about what it is that you're giving birth to. You're feeling abundant. So regardless of what it is that is going on around you, because here we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. So there seems to be a block in terms of your actual finances. So there's a block in terms of the literal pentacle coming to you at this point. So this can look like you getting offered a specific position that you didn't know was possible, but something else that you invested in before falls short. Or it could be a timing issue. So you need literal money, as in the literal currency itself, the actual pentacle for one thing, but all of this forward movement is happening on a career level. And that is clarified here by sabotage, rebuilding, repetitive, persistent, working on it, etc. So there's a lot of hard work that you're putting in order to become this Empress, or to feel abundant in this Empress energy. When it came to your self-reading, you're feeling very confident, you're feeling very bold in knowing who you are. You're carving out your identity. And this is now being reflective in terms of your career reading, because you know who it is that you are and who it is that you want to be. And in terms of being an abundant person in your career and finances, the Empress is about as powerful as you can get. And that is on, both a masculine, feminine dynamic. The Empress is extremely abundant. The Empress is the card within the Tarot that represents a lot of pentacles, a lot of comfort, beauty. Someone that is, in fact, usually on a business owner, usually someone that is in a higher position, could be management, again, an owner, someone who generates a lot of passive income as well, someone who their abundance is very prominent, it's present, and it seems like it's coming from numerous places. The High Priestess is similar to the Empress, and the High Priestess is also very financially lucrative, but the High Priestess is usually a representation of the kind of wealth that goes unseen. I call the High Priestess silver or white gold, whereas the Empress is yellow gold, something that is louder and more abundant in that sense. So there's a lot of movement happening when it comes to what it is that you want to generate for yourself, seeing these new beginnings, this fruit, this new world that you've created for yourself, and you're very focused on your abundance, you're very focused on the progression of these things, and money in particular. I just keep wanting to emphasize and say, it's like rolling off the tongue, like the actual literal pentacle, and where it is that it's coming from, and who it is that is giving it to you, and generating as much of it as possible. And you're being very hardworking and persistent about it. But also this hammer, I can't help but feel like, is also knocking out anything that does not serve. So willing to knock out what does not serve and push completely forward to what it is that does. This is a lot of hard work for you. So although this is an abundant energy and you're feeling abundant, it's like this disconnection that's taking place between the shadow and the subject. And then in combination here with the advice, it's like you've been beaten up when it comes to your career and your finances. And it's made you sharper, it's made you swifter, but now the karma has shifted. So here we have after the storm. So you've been through a lot, but here you are being reborn. Both of these cards are indications of new beginnings. The storm is one. And then this card in general is kind of the Fool in this deck, in terms of, not that it represents the Fool as an Aquarian energy for me, but it's the Fool in a sense of it being number one within this card spread. It's really just about new beginnings. A lot of tumultuous experiences happened prior to the storm taking place. So versus in the tarot, the Fool represents a new beginning. It's not necessarily someone, and it starts at zero, and it's not necessarily someone who had been through a lot. It's kind of just someone on a new journey. In this case, this after the storm is, there's been a lot of difficulty, a lot of pain, a lot of frustration, and here you are ready to create anew. And new birth is similar in that respect. All that has taken place, you are now guarded in a good way. You have your boundaries set, you are very clear, you're knowing who you are. All of the things that have been difficult have taught you everything that you needed to know in order to get to the space. You are in the mindset of the Empress because of all of these things that you have experienced. You know what you deserve. You know you deserve the best. You know you deserve what's better. Your confidence is no longer wounded. Your confidence is no longer affected. You're very clear on the life you want to create. You're just unsure about how to get there. And you're putting in all of your energy and your effort to bring you to that place. But the difficulty that you're running into is you have this very clear vision on what it is that you want in terms of your manifestations, and your self-worth and your confidence are aligning with it. But the actual pentacles themselves can seem like they are scarce. It seems like, well, where exactly is this going to come from, and how am I going to... this could also be as simple as you could be... again, getting some kind of position, but let's say it doesn't start till mid-October, and your finances are running dry right now. And so it's this kind of mindset of, okay, well, how am I going to get from here to there? Or you have these ideas about how to implement and grow within your financial profile, but in the very moment it feels like you don't know how to get there because you're scarce in the moment. So I'm going to read your guidance. Gather your energies and go within to regenerate. Let your actions match your inner rhythms. Rather than trying to force yourself to keep pace with external cues, commit to your own natural timing and pace. Exactly. As you ground and connect to your center, you will realize your spiritual power to be at cause in any situation of concern. You have such a goodness and light within you. Let go of shaming or blaming, especially yourself, and embrace the spiritual beauty within. So this goes back into this place, especially when it comes to new birth, because this is a fragile place to be in. You've been through a lot. There's been a lot in the past. You're feeling scared, you're feeling worried, but you're working hard and know that you want to be at this place here, this place of peace, abundance, the reality that you are confident and assured in your mind, within yourself. But it just feels like, well, how is it that I'm going to generate that? The deep trust happens when you go within yourself. Do not try to navigate it in things outside of yourself. The thing about the Empress is it starts within. The Empress has a deep sense of confidence and knowing within her. I'm going to say herself because the Empress is considered a her, and Capricorn, you are also a feminine sign. It does not matter whether you're masculine or feminine. Your true generation and true financial intensity comes from embracing that merger on the more yin side. Okay, so the Empress is a deep sense of knowing first, a deep sense of self-worth first, and then everything else will generate from that place. So do not look for the external validation of what it is that you desire to come into fruition. You have to go within yourself and not get caught up in what it is that you feel like is not working right now. You have to center yourself and do not shame yourself for where it is that you have been and where it is that you think you are going to end up in a negative way, because this is working out for you. Again, the Empress is a very positive omen. The storm is over. That's why it is here in terms of it being a new beginning. You have been reborn, and you have to just go within yourself and have deep trust that you can get through this moment. Let's get some more clarity on where is your solution in terms of getting through any insecurity. One of the biggest viewpoints of keeping a positive mindset through this notion is understanding that what has been in the past will not be moving forward. The karma has ended. You're moving toward bliss regardless. Clarity on the Empress and clarity on the solution and what your focus needs to be. Death in reverse. Yeah. On the solution and what your focus needs to be. And this is clarity on the Empress, which is the death in reverse. So in terms of what it is that your solution is, it's connecting through your connections, through your especially contracts, connections, new social dynamics that you're creating. You're meeting more people when it comes to your career and your work. And the more you connect and open up, it could be to your clients, colleagues, again, new job, that is where you're going to see your new beginning. Because keep in mind, the Empress knows her worth first, and that's a part of what makes her abundant. And a great person in terms of sales, for example, generating her passive income. Why does it seem like the Empress always has so much, but you're not always sure about how it is that she gets it? It's through her creative energy a majority of the time. That's why Empresses tend to represent highly paid artists or singers or gurus, etc. And it begins with knowing who it is that you are, and that then transitions into people also being aware of yourself and them being able to increase your footprint in terms of your work. Your focus needs to be on the Nine of Cups. You already have manifested the life that it is that you want for yourself. All of the visualization that you've had up until this point is where you need to keep your mind on. You know what it is that you want. Continue to stay within in terms of your manifestations and generating from the internal narrative. Ignore what you see on the outside, because it will only depress you. It will only hurt you if you're too focused on what you think your success or your progression is supposed to look like. Stay within and stay focused on what it is that you desire the most and where it is that your wish fulfillment is, because not only are you getting your wish fulfillment, and this is confirmation that your wish fulfillment is in fact in fruition, you've also created it through your own manifestation viewpoints, and that is what you need to stay focused on. You are in the process of your wish fulfillment and it coming into fruition. In terms of the clarity on the Empress itself, we have the Death in reverse. So again, this is this viewpoint. On a positive note, it is a narrative that there isn't a great ending in terms of what it is that you are creating, and there isn't a death to what it is that you want. Normally, I would say that this is a fear of change or an inability of movement, but in this case, it's more of an omen of the fact that there isn't a great ending afoot. There isn't any more change really on the horizon or transformation on the horizon. You are here in this sense. It's really just walking toward it, moving toward it, and continuing to be persistent on it. And that is what is going on for you this month in general. Do not be resistant to change, but most importantly, be aware of the fact that there isn't a great loss anymore. Do not fear great loss. There is only abundance. Okay, so what is it that you need to look out for? The Five of Swords almost wanted to flip out. And we got the Judgment. And the Emperor also came out as well. So the fact that I saw the Five of Swords in the beginning, so it could be difficulties with other people, conflicts with other people. We're still in Mercury retrograde. So although you have all this positive forward movement in terms of your connections, it's being aware of who it is that does not serve you, what situations don't serve you, what jobs do not serve you, what colleagues do not serve you. Ignore and cut out whatever it is, and most importantly, whomever it is that is standing in your way. Have proper discernment and proper judgment, and take full control of your life and what it is that you want to see come into fruition when it comes to your life and what it is that you want. Do not focus on the external or anyone trying to control your dialogue or where it is that you want to go for yourself or what it is that you're saying for yourself. Stay in control. This entire thing comes full circle when you stay within control of yourself. And you've learned so many lessons at this point that have been quite difficult. So do not repeat patterns. Do not go back into the spaces that hurt you or make the same mistakes again. I just want to say pushover. That word, just erase any part of you that can possibly go within that direction. And any part of you that can be manipulated as well. Okay, so that's what I have for you, and I love you. Ciao.